hello, and welcome to another episode of Spacejumper. My name is Jared, and of course, I'm your host. Today is a very special day because I have a good friend of mine, we met through a friend of a friend, and this man, he said he has a story to tell, and I'm not one to silence anybody or put a muzzle on anybody, so here we are, Mr. Collin Gunter, everybody. Collin, what's up, man? Thanks for coming. First off, I want to say thank you so much. I'm very excited about this because we were chatting right before we started, and some of these plans that you were talking about that you had for the future for yourself were very incredible. So why don't we go ahead and start off by telling us a little bit more about yourself and who you are and what you do.
Yeah, man. Again, I appreciate you having me. This is the first time I'm kind of publicly telling my story and my plans for the future. So here we go, and here we are. A little background.
Nice.
My name.
Sorry to bother you, my friend. Make sure. I forgot to tell you. Yeah. You almost have to make love with this baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm on it. How about that?
It's beautiful.
We a little
beautiful.
better. All right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So like I said, my name's Collin Gunter. I'm a 29 years old, single dad. I got a stage 5 end-stage renal disease, which is kidney failure. Got about 3% function right now, and I'm a type 1 diabetic. And I have full custody of my 6-year-old son. So with all that background and medical history, it is a little bit of a struggle. I do have a little bit of help, but I do most things just me and him. We're together 24/7, and he's my best friend, and he's the most important person in the world to me. So our plans for the future all revolve around him. So that's kind of like a quick backstory, and yeah, man. Like I said, I have some huge plans for the future. I'll go ahead and lay them out for you. I'll give you a little background on my medicalness. That way you can have a little bit of history of who I am. I got diabetes whenever I was, I believe, about 15 years old. So I was always a very athletic kid. I always was in sports and things like that. And I got real sick one weekend on a basketball tournament, and I was in the tournament, and I was just, like, playing terrible. Like, my dad was the coach, and I was, like, airballing. I was, like, couldn't make it up and down the court, man. I was, like, super, super sick. And I stayed home from school that week, and I was just at home just, like, thirsty, man. I was just, like, so thirsty, dehydrated, and I couldn't figure it out. And I was at home, so I was just pounding Dr. Peppers, like, because I was so thirsty. And I was just, like, I think I drank a 12-pack or a 24-pack of Dr. Peppers in 2 days or something like that. And I was just like, go in the bathroom a lot. And my mom was like, something ain't right. So we went to the doctor, and like my blood sugar was, I think they said it was like, it wouldn't test on a regular meter. It just said high. So whenever I went into the hospital, I think it was 700 and something. And if you don't know anything about blood sugars, because I know probably people don't, an average blood sugar for a person that is not a diabetic is you want to be anywhere from 75 to 120. That's like good, healthy. 100's target goal. Like everybody wants to sit around 100. Around 250 or 300 is like high. You're wanting to take blood sugars to get down. Around 400, 500, 600, you're looking at like coma range. Like you could go into a diabetic coma at that point. Like that's too much. And then under 70, you're starting to get the shakes. You're starting to like, you can pass out. That's where it gets to the point where it's like you need sugar. Like they're gonna have to give you like sugar shot or sugar through your veins or whatever. So I went to the doctor, and he ran on his machine, and he was like, you need to go to the hospital right away. So they transferred me to...
And your only symptoms at this point were just you were thirsty and urinating?
Just, super thirsty, urinating, and I was, like, super tired. Like, I would just wake up, drink a bunch, lay on the couch, and fall asleep. Wake up, use the bathroom, drink a bunch, fall asleep.
Right.
So, like, I was just super weak. Like I said, we were in the basketball tournament, and I was a I was a good basketball player. I mean, we were a good team. You know what I mean? My dad was the coach, and I played every game. Usually, I never came out, that kind of thing. But I was just airballing shots. I was like missing layups. You know, just doing things that should have been very basic, and
Right.
I wasn't doing them the way I was, and I should have been. And yeah, so I was super weak, super dry mouth, all that. The doctor said transfer you straight to the hospital.
Right.
So we transferred to, I don't remember if it was St. E or Beaumont, or Baptist in Beaumont. And we got there and they ran a bunch of tests. You know, they were saying, you know, yeah, your sugar's super high. Well, in Beaumont, they won't treat a juvenile diabetes under 18 because there's no endocrinologist, which is a diabetes specialist in Beaumont that specializes on kids. So what they did was they transferred me after running all the tests, taking all the blood and all that shit stuff. Excuse me. They transferred me to Texas Children in an ambulance. So I went to Texas Children. We got suited in, and I'll shout out Texas Children because it was a very good hospital. They took very, very good care of us. Very educational on the diabetes section. They taught kind of my family, my mom and my dad.
Oh, that's great. That's
Yeah.
good when they explain things.
They did. They kind of. I spent about I think 2 weeks there. 1 week of learning and 1 week of like kind of just getting my levels down and kind of understanding what my future was going to consist of, which is, in case you don't know what being a type 1 diabetic is, it's where your body doesn't produce the helper T cells that break down the sugar in your body. So like if you have a pack of donuts, that sugar goes into your bloodstream. And as soon as you start eating that sugar, your body recognizes that it's sugar, and your pancreas produces helper T cells, which break down that sugar in your blood. So that's how if not, the sugar won't be broken down, and it'll just go up and up and up in your levels, and then, like you said, you'll get super thirsty. Those are kind of the symptoms. But a normal person's body instantly starts breaking that down. They instantly start breaking down the sugar. My body doesn't produce helper T cells. My pancreas doesn't work. So what happens is I have insulin, which is, it's man-made. It's used, some synthetic, some's used from like pigs, some used from people. It's made in the lab.
Right.
But what happens is everybody that's diabetic has a different kind of scale that they use or whatever, and then the doctors figure that out for you. So my scale is 1 to 10 carbs. So if I was to eat like a pack of donuts, that runs like 25 carbs, whatever. Your body, like I said, would instantly start breaking that down. But my body, I have to take insulin when I eat. So like I eat a pack of donuts, and I have to go get my insulin. I take 3 units of insulin. That insulin then breaks the sugar down in my body. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of like a background on being like a diabetic. Like everything you eat that has sugar in it, you have to take insulin for. Meats you don't, and like salads, stuff like that, you don't, like lettuce, stuff like that, you don't have to. But anything that has like a sugar in it,
Right.
your body, a diabetic's body, type 1 diabetic, type 2 is different. Type 1 diabetic's body does not break that down. So it's super important, like, to keep up with, I check my blood sugar. I wear a T-Slim, so
those are
I
cool.
scan it on my phone, and
That's
it's
cool.
super convenient now. But like whenever I was pricking my finger, I would prick my finger 5 or 6 times a day before meals to make sure that sugar that I ate earlier is broke down from the insulin,
Right.
and then correction and all that kind of stuff. So it is a very complex disease. People live with it till, as long as you keep up with your things, I can live a normal life as long as I'm taking my medicine, you know what I mean? As long as I break down the sugar the right way, I'll live just like you. Just my body's not doing it naturally. I'm doing it with a medicine.
Right.
So
How long have you been on insulin?
Since I was 15. Yeah.
Okay. And how old are you now?
I'm 29 now.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So almost 15 years now, coming up on 15 years.
Yeah.
Wow. And so you take insulin pretty often throughout the day, or is it after every meal?
Anytime I'm going to eat. So before every meal. So like if I'm gonna go like if we go out to eat after this, when we go to the restaurant, we're gonna be looking at the menu. And I'm gonna see maybe I want like a steak with mashed potatoes and gravy and broccoli and a drink. I mean, I switched to all diet drinks now because they have no sugar in them. So I did that whenever I was 15, and I don't even enjoy a regular drink now. So I just drink diet drinks or water or like something like this, zero
Sure.
sugar.
Yeah.
And it makes it a lot easier for me because I could drink a regular drink, but if I do, then I have to break that sugar down and take a little bit more medicine, So what I would do is I would look at that menu, and I've been doing it a while, so I know how many carbs are in a mashed potato. I know how many carbs are in that gravy. I know how many carbs are in that broccoli. So before, like when we order our meal, I'll go to the bathroom, boom, take my shot. It's like a kind of like it's like a pen, like an EpiPen, look kind of that.
Right.
I twist to the number, shoot it, take it. I'll take that shot, and then I'll just eat my meal, and it'll be fine, and it'll all break down. And then in about an hour or two, I'll scan my thing and make sure that sugar all got broken down. It'll tell me that my blood sugar, is at 150 or whatever. And if it's
what
scanned,
a piece of technology.
it is.
It's
It's crazy.
It's nuts.
It is. And if you think about it, like
tapped into your body's, fluid dynamics.
yes. And
It's
if you think
crazy.
about it, like 50, 60 years ago, people just like now maybe a little bit longer than that, maybe 100 years ago. Think of 100 years ago because I won't underestimate it. But
Yeah,
people like
not
that,
the government, at
they
least.
died. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they,
right,
like
yeah.
you would just die. Like your body can't handle that much with that without breaking it down.
Right.
But thank God for technology for sure. And like I said, they've made it real easy now. It's like a EpiPen. You just twist to it, boom, shoot it. It's very simple, very discreet. You know what I mean? I can do it anywhere pretty much.
Right.
Very easy now, and just keeping up with it is like the hardest thing. And that kind of leads into how I got kidney failure. Is when I was younger, I didn't do the things I was supposed to do. I was like, kind of like, screw this, you know what I mean? I don't care. I just want to be a normal kid. I don't want to take my medicine at every meal. Like my friends don't have to go to the bathroom. My friends don't have to stop and check their blood sugar. Like if we go to a pizza party, they can just start eating the pizza, or they can eat as many as they want on the buffet. They don't have to be like, oh, I can only eat 4 pieces because that's what I took my medicine for. Like I was just super against what had happened to me. You know what I mean? I was
Right.
like,
Yeah, I could see.
like as a kid or as like a teenager, even I was like, even in my younger 20s, I was just like, man, I don't care. Yeah, screw the consequences, And I will say I had a ton of people in my life tell me, you're going to regret it. Do what you're supposed to do, because if you don't, it's going to suck in the future. And I always say, I wish I would have listened. So anybody that's type 1 diabetic out there and you're young and you're going against what the people are saying, take it from somebody who's been through it, man. Do what you're supposed to do, because you do not want to go through what I'm going through right now. It's one of the worst things I've ever been through in my life, and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Like it's the hardest. Having kidney failure is the hardest thing ever in my life. And so what happened was I was young and I didn't really take care of myself, and my blood sugars were always. When you run about like 300, you can kind of tell you're high, like symptom-wise, but you still feel okay. Like you don't have to go to the hospital or nothing like that.
Yeah.
Like you can still survive like that, you know what I mean? But it's tearing your body apart, like the inside of your body. It's just demolishing your body. It's making your blood pressure run high, like all kinds of things like that. But you don't notice those things because you don't check your blood pressure, do you? Like, no, like as a young dude, you know what I mean? I was still very active in sports. I still did everything I was doing. And so I just let my blood sugar run high because I said, screw it, like if I was around 200 to 300, I would never fix it because I still felt okay. And I'm like, I don't want to take a shot. You know what I mean? I don't want to do that, So I let it run high for a long time. And I, around 2 years ago, in September of 21, I think it was, I brought my son to school. And I came home and I was feeling real bad, and I took my medicine, and I ended up taking too much medicine, and it made my blood sugar go real low, so low that I dropped my son. I'll never forget. I dropped my son off at school, and I don't even remember driving home this day. This is like how bad it got. I drove home, and I got in the shower because that was like hot showers are like the biggest thing to help like with symptoms. I would just get in the hot shower. You know what I mean? It would make me feel better.
Right.
I'd spend some time in there. I'd be okay. Well, I got in the shower, and the next thing I remember was waking up in a hospital bed. Connected to a bunch of tubes, everything.
Holy
and
crap.
what I was told was my brother came home. I dropped my kid off school at 8 o'clock in the morning. My brother came home at 5 o'clock from work, and my car was still running in the driveway. The door was open, and I was still laying in the shower with the water running.
Oh, shit.
Just like cold water because all the hot water ran out. It was just water was running on me, and I was passed out. So he called 911, and the ambulance came, and I was incubated for 3 days where I was on machines. Like I wasn't awake. I wasn't like when I woke up, I didn't know who I was. I couldn't remember anything. Even my like grandparents came in to visit me like pretty soon after I wake up, and I didn't even know who they were. Like didn't even recognize them. Didn't know nothing. Like now, all my memories pretty much back now. You regain
isn't that
that.
crazy how your body reacts to these things,
100%. But like I said, man, and my son's with me every day, and my son came in to see me, and I didn't know who my son was when he came in to visit me, and my dad was sitting by the bed, and I didn't know who he was. You know, like it was very crazy. I had to relearn to walk in the hospital. It didn't take long, you know. Once I got the fluid, it's kind of like riding a bike. Once I got the motions down, it was pretty easy. But I mean, I couldn't walk up and down the hospital floor more than a couple times before I had to be back in the bed. And like I said, it was a very eye-opening and life-changing moment. And they found out whenever I was in that state that I had kidney failure. Like it was never known before that, and I was only at 16% function.
Holy crap.
Yeah, man. It was very crazy. They did emergency dialysis through my neck. And if you don't know what kidney failure is, it's your kidneys clean your blood. So like when you drink something or you eat something or anything that goes in your body, it filters through your kidneys. That's like when you go to the bathroom, you're using the bathroom, and like, you know, if you have a night where you eat a bunch of bad stuff and you drink a bunch of bad stuff, you know, your pee's a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? Like that's getting rid of all that bad stuff that's in your body. Well, my kidney don't do that. My kidney doesn't filter my blood at all. So like all that bad stuff that's in your blood, it's got to be cleaned, because if it don't, it's going to come out somehow. You're going to be throwing up. I spent a lot of time throwing up.
Were you like swelling?
Swelling super bad, yeah, and sweating a lot, because that fluid has to come out. Like I said, it's going to come out one way or another. That fluid, like, and I couldn't use the bathroom. So it wasn't coming out through peeing, you know what I mean? So that fluid's going to come out, whether that be throwing up, whether that be sweat, whether that be swelling up real bad. And if you go untreated, that you'll swell up real bad, and you'll eventually it puts fluid on your lungs and heart, and you'll eventually have a heart attack. That's kind of like what kills most people with kidney failure, is heart attack with fluid overload. And so they did emergency dialysis with a port through my neck, and they got me right in the hospital, you know. So they got it all taken care of, and I've been, over the last year, I've been experimenting with different ways, different things like that to do dialysis, and I'm currently on a 3-day schedule, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays. I go to Fresnius Kidney Care, shout out Fresnius, because they get me right all the time, and they
is that in Beaumont?
That's in Beaumont, but they are globally owned, so that kind of leads to my plans. You know, they have clinics everywhere, anywhere you can think of in the United States. If you put it in your map, there's a Fresnius Kidney Care within 30 miles, so I can go to any of them. I use the Beaumont one as my main. They're my home location or whatever. So I go there, and it's 4-hour treatments. So every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, I go hook up to a machine, and what they do is they clean your blood for you. So I have what's called a fistula, It's underneath my arm here. You have these band-aids on. If you want to feel
Yeah.
feel that vibrating. Wrap your hand around there.
Oh,
You feel that?
It's like a pump.
Yeah. So what that is, it's called a fistula, and it's a device that widens your veins. It's inside my vein, and it widens my vein so that they can do the treatment through there. Because if not, they use a chest catheter, which I had for a while. You can see I got a scar here on my tattoo.
Right.
That's from where I had my chest catheter. They don't use chest catheters in the United States very much because they're always open. This wound here, they had a tube that came out, and it goes into your main vein that runs into your heart. And they use that vein because it's the largest vein,
Right.
and it can handle the blood being transferred out and being transferred in. And
But it also could introduce some
infections.
type of infection. Yeah.
Infections,
Wow.
yes. And because it's always open, because that never like that tube can't be healed around. It's always open. So they say like you're not allowed to take a shower, can't go swimming, even like sweating at like the gym and stuff. That can lead to an infection into there. So you have to live very, very carefully, which I'm a person that is like I said, even with my diabetes, I didn't take care of that very much. Right. I'm not a very careful living person, you know what I mean? I imagine having to go the next 40 years with only taking sponge baths or having a handheld where you only spray,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's impractical.
It would be and like for old people, which is mostly the kind of people that get kidney failure, it's not that big of a deal. But man, I'm in my prime. Like I'm 29 years old. You know what I mean? I got a 7-year-old that wants to go to water parks, or 6-year-old. He'll be 7 this year. I got a kid that wants to go to water parks and like wants to do stuff where you sweat or go fishing and like, you know what I mean? Like things where I don't.
What's your boy's name?
His name's Riot.
Riot. Well, shout out Riot.
Yeah, like let's start a riot. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that's my boy, man. He's
RIOT?
RYETT.
RYETT.
Yeah, and man, like I said, he's everything to me. Like there ain't no one thing on this world I wouldn't do for that kid, and he's my best friend. And just to give some background on him, he is like we have conversations like me and you are having right now. He's very smart, and I do not hide anything from him. He's seen me on a hospital bed. He's seen me in an ambulance. He's seen me good, and he's seen me bad, and he's been through it all with me. So I don't hide anything with him. I treat him just like I would treat you. I have complete conversations with him, and honestly, it's made him to a very smart kid. He just graduated kindergarten this year from Lumberton, and they do like their evaluations, and he is on a third grade. He has third grade reading and writing skills, and he can recognize 7th and 8th grade words. So as a kindergartner,
that's incredible.
So he's very, very smart. And I think
kindergarten, I was just trying to push Hot Wheels.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, I think it has a lot to do with like the technology and stuff nowadays, because he does like watch a lot of educational videos and stuff like that on YouTube, and like he comes to me with words that and like. Shout out Siri and Alexa, because
honestly,
if there's anything he doesn't know, he will go, like the other day he wanted to know how to spell parallelogram.
What?
And he asked me, and I'm like, man, I have no idea. And he goes, he's like, hey Siri, how do I spell parallelogram and what is it? And like Siri will explain the spelling and the definition of that, and he does that with anything that he wants to learn.
He sounds like very curious.
Yes, he is, and and I think it's because I don't hide anything from him.
See, I think that's the key too. My dad, he was always very honest. I remember I was really young, and I was like, I was on my way home from basketball practice, and I said, hey Dad, I really wanted to know. It was around December. I said, hey, is Santa real?
Mm-hmm.
And he gave me his honest answer, but it was his raw, and he was like, I'm not gonna lie to you. And he said, this is what it is, and that was always it always stuck in my mind as being respectable, like thank you for not pulling my leg, or thank you for making me feel like some camaraderie,
Yeah, and what you said right there is what I tell him all the time. I tell him all the time, I will not lie to you. Yeah. No matter what it is, before you ask me, before you want to know something, before we go through anything, just know I will never lie to you.
Yeah, that's important.
And I tell him, and I say, if you want an answer on something, just know that I'm gonna tell you the truth.
Right.
Like, whether it's about your mom, whether it's about the future, whether it's about Santa Claus, whatever it is, just know that I'm never gonna lie to you. I'm gonna keep it real with you your entire life, and that's what I've done. You know, like from the time I got him when he was 4 years old, July of 2021, I got him, and I got full custody of him, and I've had him since then. You know, he hasn't been with his mother since then. He hasn't been with he's been with me full time since then, and you know, that's one thing that I've told him, and I told him, like, you don't lie to me. I'll never lie to you. You don't lie to me. No matter what it is, you come to me, you tell me, we'll handle it together. I don't care.
Yeah, I think that's a good way. Yeah,
I don't care if it's me
like
and you.
A good dad.
I don't care if it's me and you against the U.S. Army. I don't care if it's me and you against my friends hate it when I say this. Sorry, my religious friends. But I don't care if it's me and you against God. I don't care who it is. I don't care what it is. I brought you into this world. It will be me and you against this whole entire universe. No matter what it is you go through, no matter what it is, I will stand by your side. Just be honest with me about it, because I'm going to tell you the truth about everything.
Yeah.
And I think that has made him like to who he is, you know. And like you said, your dad was like that. My dad was a very great dad, but my parents never gave me the raw side of things. They gave me a very great childhood. Shout out to my parents. They made sure I always had everything I wanted. They prepared me for the world. If the world went into an apocalypse right now, I feel like I could survive because of what my parents taught me. You know, my dad took me hunting and fishing. My dad took me, you know, on vacations. They always paid for my sports. You know, I always had the best bat, best basketball shoes, you know, all that kind of stuff. So shout out my parents. There's no, like, I have no down on my parents, but it's a different kind of parenting in my eyes. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because they never
different age bracket.
Yeah,
too,
100%.
Yeah.
We're in a different time. You know what I mean? We're in a different generation. You know, we're in like my grandma, she gets upset whenever I correct her on things. And I went walking the other day with no shoes on, and she was like, "Why would you do that? That makes no sense." And I said, "Why not?" And she was like, "It's stupid." I said, "What makes it stupid?" And she goes, I don't know. And I'm like, there you go. It doesn't matter if you don't want to go walking without shoes on. You don't have to go walking without shoes on. Yeah. But if I want to go walking without shoes on, don't try to belittle my opinion on what I want to do because you think it's dumb. If it's something that I make a decision on, it's something I make a decision on, you know. And I think that I put that mindset into my kid instead of like, just do what everybody else is doing, you know. I will always say, like, each person should make their own decisions as long as it doesn't affect another person. Like, I'm like, as long as your actions aren't going to affect another person, you're the one that's going to have to deal with them. You know what I mean? And you're the one that if you get hit by a car tomorrow, you're the one that's going to have to face whatever your beliefs are. I believe in God. So if I was to die tomorrow, I know that all the decisions I've made, I'm good with God. You know what I mean? I'm very okay with everything I made. You know what I mean? And I try to, I guess, preach that to people is make decisions for you. You know what I mean? Like, and don't try to live for everybody else. And that's one thing I've really learned since being sick is, like, I was somebody that, like, was super living for, like, try to make everybody else happy and stuff like now. And now I don't care about anybody, what it affect. As long as I'm doing things that aren't going to, like, directly affect somebody else negatively, then that person has the choice to either look at what I'm doing, learn from it and agree with it, or just live their own life. You know what I mean? And so, and that's the way I, like, kind of, that's my philosophy now. And I kind of put that on my kid too, to, like, just live your life. And he does. And I'm like, super, super good with that. But my parents, they were like, do what you're supposed to do, you know, go to work and just live the American dream how it's supposed to be, you know. And I'm not against that, you know. That's a philosophy that could be taught to something. It's just not what I teach mine. And like I said, my parents were great, and they're just I'm just not on that wavelength, you know what I mean? I'm on a whole different mindset of how I want my kid to look at the future. Like, my dad never taught me anything about money. Like, he worked all the time to, like I said, he paid for everything, but he never showed me the like what why things were costing the way it was and stuff like that. And I have no secrets with my kids. Like, I tell them how much money I have. I tell them what things are costing. I tell them why we can't do certain things, or why, you know, we don't buy a toy every time we go to the store. And like, we donate all of his stuff probably about like a year or so. He has a bunch of stuff. So we take all his toys, we take all his old clothes, and we go and donate them. So I started doing that when he was younger, and now I don't even have to tell him to do it. Like, he came into my room the other day with an old stuffed animal that he's had for about 3 years, and he said, "Dad, I really love Mr. Snuggles, but I think it's time that he goes to somebody else's home." And
that's awesome.
And he gives the love that he's given me to someone else.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he's definitely
You know what I mean? And you
smart,
can't
yeah.
like, you can't just make a kid do that. Like,
Right.
a kid picks up on what is going on.
Right,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And like, I was so proud. You know what I mean? He was like,
Sure,
and
yeah,
he was
that's-
like,
yeah.
he was like, I have a bucket in my room, and it's all the stuff that I'm ready to donate to someone else. You know what I mean? And he has like, he separates his toys out whenever he gets to ones that he's like, they're little, he's outgrowing, or he's getting tired of, or whatever. You know what I mean? He's like, I want to give this to somebody that can't have one. You know what I mean? And he will come to me and tell me that. You know what I mean? And to me, that shows me that like, I'm doing the right thing. You know what I mean? Like I can't. How can you say that I'm doing something wrong whenever I'm looking at a little kid who has, you know what I mean? He don't have to do that. You know, he's
Right.
6 years old. Like, he don't, like, how does that go into a 6-year-old mind? You know what I mean?
Honestly, yeah.
Like, as a 6-year-old, I wanted everything. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, I want that kid's toy too. I don't care if he don't have anything. You know,
Right.
like, and it wasn't because it was just because I wasn't educated on like the fact that other people don't have what I had, or the fact that I am blessed to have what I grew up with, you know,
and also feelings and emotions. You know, like
100%.
you know, it's something I also had to kind of grow into myself, because you know, as a young boy, man, I didn't care. I didn't care
Exactly.
Just, you know, if I got a little sense of a problem, you know, I was running my mouth and causing problems, and you know, it's crazy because you know now being, you know, you know, I'm 20. I'm about to be 27 now. I'm sorry. Wow, I'm about to be 28. Jesus.
Don't worry, I forget all the time. But 30's coming up on me, so
Yeah.
it's hard to forget that.
But no, it's crazy though, because you know, it's people have feelings and emotions, and
100%.
and it's very nice to know that that there are people out there that are just naturally sweet, you know.
100%. And I think, like you said, it is growing into it, because
Yeah.
don't think that I was always like this. That you can like, even before he was born, like even as like a high schooler and a college student, people that know me before would not recognize who I am now. Like, I was the same way. You messed with me wrong, there was no words. I was swinging. You know what I mean? Like, I got in plenty of fights. I've been arrested plenty of times. Like, I was never like a model. And like I said, that comes from like I don't think my parents showed me the correct way to like feel everything that's going on. And I like, that's what I really try to preach to him, is like the feeling of like, you can emotionally get through anything. Nowadays, you can mess with me all you want, and honestly, I enjoy my life so much. Honestly, you could probably punch me and I would probably walk away now, because of what I've learned and stuff. It's not worth, I have so much to live for now that I'm not going to risk anything because you have something going on. Like, you have an issue going on. I'm so at peace and so in touch with myself that, like, man, I can't believe the things that I did when I was younger. Like, even looking back, you know, and like, if I could go back and like apologize to all the people that I did wrong, you know, I would go that instantly. And like, I don't have any harboring any feelings for anybody, you know, because I only care about my son, my kids, and my future. That's all I care about. You know, I don't care about. I do believe that everything we go through makes us who we are, 100%.
Absolutely.
So I wouldn't go back and not do it again, because it made me who I am today. But I still I have regrets on the things that I went through and like the person I was. But that's the whole thing of like not wanting my son to be like that. You know what I mean? I
Right,
don't
yeah.
want my son somebody to mess with him and he instantly like getting a fit. Or like you said, I don't want him to see something he wants, not get it, and be throwing a tantrum like some of these kids that I see. Like,
yeah.
I don't want
a
him.
lot often these days.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I don't want to see that him, like, if we're in the store and I tell him he can't have something, he'll ask me why. I'll explain to him why, and he don't always understand, but he will take that information in. He won't throw a fit like, well, I want it, blah, 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 I want it, blah, blah, blah. You know, he's not that, like, and I think it's because I'm so honest with him about things like that. And I wish I could push that on other parents, you know. But, I mean, like I said, everybody does their own thing, and no parent shaming here, like, raise your kids how you raise them or whatever, but my kid will be one that your kid will be happy to be around. And like anywhere my kid goes, he will be respectful and he will be like easy to be watched. Like it will be no issue, you know, and it's because I just keep it so real with him.
Yeah.
You know, and I kind of got off topic on there a little bit about that.
No,
but,
that's okay though.
But like I said, my kid's my best friend and he's seen everything. So going through like the kidney failure and all that kind of stuff, he's been there through it all. He asked me questions. He knows like my numbers for what my numbers should be for my diabetes.
Oh, wow.
He knows like what my insulin is and why I take it before I eat. He knows that it breaks down sugars, you know. He's probably more educated than most adults in like diabetes and management and stuff like that because he does pay attention and we're together all the time and he asks the questions, you know, like, and I don't say it's an adult sickness or I don't say that this is something that adults go through. You know what I mean? I just keep it real with him just like I am right now with you. And he's very smart on it. And that just gives some background on my kid on to why I'm doing what I'm doing. So
and you were telling me a little bit about this before we started.
Yeah.
And what exactly are you doing? What do you have planned?
So
sir?
here's my plan, man. Like I said, Fresnia's kidney cares are all over the world. They're globally owned. There's one in every city. So my plan here now for the next year, I think my plan is to leave by September or November because that will be his 7th birthday. So a couple months.
Wow.
And
A couple months from now.
couple months from now, yeah.
Wow.
And what it is I pulled him out of first grade public school, and I went ahead and got the Texas board certified first grade curriculum so that I could teach him, and I pulled him into a homeschool program. And what I'm going to do is we are going to travel the United States. So that's right now. My dad. Shout out my dad. My dad. I live in his house, and he lives with his girlfriend. He moved in with his girlfriend, so it was like our childhood house. We were all me and my brother and my dad were all living there together, and they both moved out with their girlfriends. So it's just me and Riot there now.
Oh,
but
wow.
his house is paid off, so I don't pay like a rent, but I just pay the water bill, the electric bill, and then he pays the taxes on it, and whenever he sells the house, he'll make the money on it. So shout out my dad for that because
Wow,
that's
a
huge.
nice setup. Yeah, it's
you
a
know
nice
what I mean?
setup.
It's huge to save that money, especially when I was so sick. I wasn't working, none of that kind of stuff. So my dad has helped me out a ton money-wise and stuff like that, and not paying a rent is huge, you know. But going off that, I don't have a rent, so my plan, like, I don't have to worry. Like, that's a big thing why people don't travel, you know what I mean, is because, you know, you use all your money paying $1,000, $1,500 in rent. You don't really have that money to, like, do anything,
Right.
you know? Well, I don't have that problem. So what we're going to, and also with my disability, I was able to get a pass. It's a Texas Parks Pass.
Oh,
And,
that's cool.
It was free. And what it is it's this right here. It's an access pass. And what it does is it allows you to get in any national park in the United States for free at any time. All you have to do is pull up to the gate.
Any park in the United States?
Any national park.
Any national park.
Village Creek, you know, like where we're from.
Right.
You know, there's Village Creek National Park where you
Yeah.
can go in and camp. Like, they're campsites, any national campsite.
Sure.
So anyone in the United States that's owned by the government, you show them this at the entryway, and you get a campsite for free.
In the national park.
In the national parks.
What? That's
anywhere
crazy.
in the United States.
That's so cool.
And like in every state, there's a national park that you can go camp at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like every city, there's pretty much some kind of national park that you can go that has campsites.
Like state parks?
State parks.
Yeah,
state parks.
Yeah.
Like anywhere you go, there's
In the nation. State parks in the nation.
In the nation. Yeah,
Okay,
and any state park that has,
Wow.
And so
Yeah, they're everywhere. They're
everywhere.
popped up everywhere. Yeah,
everywhere.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Because the government wants to have, their stake in everything. Like they want to say, I own, this is government land, blah blah blah.
Sure, yeah.
But the perk of that is we're two dudes. You know what I mean? It's not like we're a girl. It's not like we're pretty safe as two dudes. And over the last few months, I have been preparing for this, and I bought a tent set up, a hammock set up, all the things we need to do camping and that kind of stuff. And as two dudes and as a 6-year-old, he can sleep in the back seat if he wants like a more comfortable spot, or if it's raining and he don't want to sleep in the tent.
Right.
But my plan is to travel all across the United States. I have a list that I've been adding to, and what I do is when I go to different dialysis centers, or if I go to places like me and you, I ask the person, I say, where is somewhere in the United States that you would go if you could before you die? And if I don't have that on my list yet, I add it to my list. And if it's something I want to do, then we'll go there and we'll check it off. And I have some friends in California. I have Trent in California.
Yeah,
shout out Trent.
Yeah.
Shout out E-Bar. Watch him on the UFC, undefeated still champion. Yeah, you already know. And I got Tim. Tim, you listen to Tim on YouTube. He's an artist in California. And they're in California, so that's kind of like one of my first stops, because we'll stay on state parks as we go, and then I have some friends in places that we can stay at their house. If we want a bed and we want a thing like that, like if we want to stay in like a house, you know what I mean? I got friends in other places where we can stay on our journey, and I do dialysis 3 times a week, so
Yeah, that throws a kind of almost like a wrench in things, but it seems like you kind of have mapped through this problem.
Yes, so I will give you the layout on that, because the big thing, like I say, the big top 3 that people say is why they don't travel is money, health wise, that's my dialysis, and like child care, like who's gonna watch my kid, that's like. You said it was not. Sorry, I just. You said 2 dudes. Like, are you talking about you and your son? Yeah, me and my son.
Okay.
Yeah, like 2 guys traveling.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like there's not like, you don't have like girl problems where you're gonna have like it would be harder if you could do it as a girl. You know what I mean? No disrespect to the women out there. But I just think like me and my son are in a whole different situation to be able to do that traveling than like, if you were a woman with a daughter or like that, it would be a little bit more dangerous to travel, by yourself.
Sure, yeah,
like you think about if you were like you were to pack up and want to make a road trip, you wouldn't really be worried too much about like, and you could stop at campsites or whatever, or even a hotel,
about any threats
or even a hotel.
anything,
What I mean? You personally wouldn't be worried about like anybody like hurting you or robbing you or breaking into your stuff. And no, I have a concealed carry license, so I'm always strapped. So I am not.
We're ready, baby.
Yeah, I'm not. We're in Texas, man. I'm always carrying. So I'm not. And my son knows how to shoot a gun. We've been in the range plenty of times. He knows how to use it if he has to. But it just leads to the point that like I'm not like scared of anything that's going to go on. It would be different if I had, if my son was a girl, it'd be different because I would be worried about
creeps out there.
Yeah, there are and you never know what you're going to encounter, and like a little boy is still could go into it, but not as much as like a girl or a girl traveling. That's why I say
you got to watch out if you're a female out on these doing some traveling and things like that. I mean, you never know who you're going to run into.
100%. It's way more dangerous to travel as a solo female or a female with a child.
And there's some females that do it.
Yeah, and shout out, I have a friend. I have a very good friend, Lauren. Her name's Lauren, and she has traveled all across Canada, all kinds of stuff.
You don't want to mess with those women.
With her and her
they
dog.
Will bop your ass.
100%. And she is she's done it. She's done pretty much kind of what I'm doing.
Wow.
And shout out her because that's an amazing thing, you know.
Yeah, that's interesting. So your plan is to travel wherever you feel within the United States.
I'll show you
which
the list.
it seems practical because you have all of these different locations where you could do the dialysis and things like that. But my concern is you are going to be sleeping in a tent.
Sometimes, yes.
Okay.
We'll do. If you can just look over that real quick. Just that's like a brief summary.
Oh, is this your list?
That's a brief summary of like what I'm gonna be doing, like what my plan is.
This list looks badass. Yeah, this list is well thought out.
It's planned, and like I said, whenever I start, this is very early in the planning stage. Right. It's still here. When I start, I'm gonna post that list because with that app, people can view that list and see where I've been, see the check, like what I've checked off and what I haven't, and what's on the list. That way, they can think of things they want to add, or they can see where we've already been. And like I said, this list will be added onto my YouTube and like the Facebook post I make and stuff like that.
So you're going to start streaming and things like that?
With this, I have already, like I said, I've already been getting everything together. Well, I've got the tent gear. I enjoy a hammock. Like I like a hammock. I sleep better in a hammock than I do underneath the stars with nothing else. I sleep better like that than I do in my bed at home. Like, if I'm just being completely honest with you, if I could set up a hammock in my backyard, I would sleep better in it than I would in my bed.
The only reason I gave any concern about the tent is because the last time that I went camping, oh my God, it was, I slept in a tent for 2 nights and, oh God, it was so uncomfortable.
Okay.
It was like, I had my sleeping bag and things like that, but I mean, it was just so rough. And then, you got little critters crawling in, ants and whatever. And
so gear-wise, though, like, what did you invest in? Did you just go grab a...
No, I had a full setup. Yeah, I had a full setup. It was was good. But yeah, no, it's not something that I could see myself doing every night, just because of the uncomfortable aspect of it. But and I think about that, and I also think about the weather, How do you plan on battling these nights with weather?
So I have thought about that, and the comfort-wise thing to me, like I said, I'm very comfortable in a hammock, so that it doesn't bother me very much. And for my son, if he is ever uncomfortable in the tent, he he is small enough now, and he is he goes to bed at the same time every night, wakes up every night. He's on a very good schedule. And what I've practiced and what we've practiced is I can set him up in the back seat with we have a nice blanket, you know what I mean, nice pillow, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. It's like a bed for him because he fits in there perfectly. It couldn't be me. I'm a little bit, not too much too tall because I'm not that big of a person, but I'm a little bit too tall for the car. But for him, it would be nothing for him to lay him in the back seat. You know what I mean? Have the windows cracked, or if it's cold out, have the little space heater running on the inside that runs off off the car battery, or a little fan air conditioner.
Man, that's an expedition. How are you planning on going from your house onto a trip and then coming back to the house?
Well, see, the house will be there.
Or are you taking off and you're going to be gone for an extended amount of time?
My thing is, I'm not planning like months ahead of time because of my dial. Well, first let me finish. Let me go back to the the weather kind of thing.
Okay.
So I have enough money that. I make enough money in the month through my ways. I won't get into the money, but just know that the money part is kind of taken care of. And if weather was bad, if we didn't want to, it would be no thing for me just to get a hotel.
Right. Yeah.
And for me and him to get a 1-bedroom hotel averages anywhere from I can get them from $49 a night to $100 a night. You know what I mean? For one night. You know what I mean? And even if I wanted to stay a whole month in a hotel, you can get an extended stay hotel for $800. Like,
Right.
You know what I mean?
You're
It ain't
right.
if I in an area like say we want to explore somewhere for a month and I don't have any. I'm not around like Tim or Trent or my sister or somebody that I can like stay with. Then it wouldn't be no thing for me to get an extended stay hotel, $800. That would be the same I would pay for our rent. Then electric's paid for, water's paid for, you get shower, you got hotel breakfast every morning.
Right.
You know what I mean? And shout out to the government because I do get food stamps every month.
Yeah.
So like with my son being like the age he is, I get a nice amount of money for food stamps. So we're not worried about groceries. Like every month the groceries are paid for. But like I said, if weather gets inclement, if weather gets bad, things like that, I'll just go check into a hotel for the night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or if he's tired of sleeping, like you said, you know what I mean? We're tired of sleeping.
Yeah,
We're tired of sleeping in a tent. We don't want to worry about the bugs tonight. We don't want to do like that. We don't want to set the tent up tonight, you know?
Right.
Or we don't want to go through the process of doing that. And he don't feel like sleeping in the car tonight. And he will tell me that, you know what I mean? He's like I said, he's a very vocal. He's like me. He's gonna be straight up with you. Like, if he don't want to sleep in the car, if he don't want to sleep in the tent, if he don't want to sleep in the hammock, he's gonna say, "Hey, Dad, can we get a hotel tonight? Because I don't want to sleep outside." You know what I mean? He's gonna let me know, but he enjoys the camping aspect of it. Like you
guys go camping often?
Yeah, we not like every weekend, but we've been, you know, probably 10, 15 times, and he enjoys it. You know what I mean? He don't mind it. And like I said, he will tell me like, I don't want to go. I don't want to do this. I do want to do this. I don't mind. You know what I mean? He's very honest with me about things. And that goes back to like the not lying thing. Like, I tell him like, if there's something that's bothering you, like you don't want to do something, you let me know because I am here for you. And like in the whole pulling him out of school, I asked him, you know what I mean? I'm like, do you want to go to school next year or do you want to do this trip? And he wants to do the trip. And if it ever comes to the point where he's like, Dad, I want to join a baseball team, or Dad, I want to try, like, I want to go to public school and see if I like it, then I'll find us a city that we enjoy and we'll settle down there and I'll give him the chance to do that. And then he can decide, you know, I'm not making him do it. You know what I mean? If he ever wants to stop, I drive back to the house right then and get him enrolled back in school and sign him up for a baseball team or whatever he wants to do. Like I said, he is the most important part. So this isn't just for me, it's for him as well. And it's everything we're doing is his decision. Half the things on this list are his choices. Like he wants to go to the Spy Ninja headquarters that's in Vegas. You know what I mean?
Cool.
Like he wants to go to there's a couple different water parks that like he has seen on YouTube videos that he wants to go to. You know what I mean? So they're on the list.
There's so much out there, man.
Yeah,
there's a lot of things to see, and the thing that I really like about what you're trying to do is, you know, a lot of people go through life and they never see a lot of these places. You know, they never get to see different terrain. They never get to see different cultures and how people live, and you know, all these different diverse cities in the United States and things like that. And I think that it's crucial for people to explore and to see things and to experience things and to be a part of something new and new scenery and have new ideas and meet people with different thoughts,
different views.
Yeah.
100%. And that's kind of like why I tell people about what I'm doing is because you don't have to agree with what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't. A lot of people stay, you know, in their hometown or around the same area. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. But I also will say that if you never go anywhere else, you'll never know if you're meant to be somewhere else.
Right.
And like I said, I'm religious, and I believe 100% that this is the path that God wants me to be on. He wants me to travel, and he wants me to tell my story of what I've been through with my diabetes, with my kidney failure. And to me, if I tell my story and I inspire one young person that's on dialysis, one young person that has diabetes to just live, to continue on, because, man, these are hard diseases, and these are like, not diabetes, but kidney failure is a terminal illness. You know what I mean? Like, people with kidney failure don't live to be 80, 90 years old. Like, the average lifespan is like, I think 50 to 60 years old. And like you can get a kidney transplant, but after 10 to 20 years, that kidney will fail too because your body will fight against it because it's not your kidney, you know. And that, like I said, the average lifespan is not 80 years old. Once you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, you start feeling all the effects of all this terminal illness you have. So my thing about doing it now is I'm in good shape, I'm in good health,
Right.
and I might not be in that in 10 years. And my thing is I do not want my son to look back and say, my dad's alive, but he just survived. And like I said, he's been through all this with me. I don't want him to look back and say, my dad was sick. He was alive and he raised me, but all he did was go and get his treatments. You know what I mean? We didn't get to. I want him to look back and say, man, even though my dad's sick now, we lived for those 5 years.
Yeah,
We
I
experienced
think
things
that's powerful,
that other things didn't go through. You know what I mean? And
Right.
If I end up dying in 10 to 20 years, I will be okay with that because at least during that time we got to spend it together. You know what I mean? I didn't sit him in a classroom with 20 other students that he's smarter than right now and made him look at it in a textbook. What you're looking at in that textbook, I want to go to. The Statue of Liberty. I want to go to the Statue of Liberty. I want to bring him to Washington, D.C. I want him to see the Capitol. I want him to see the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. I want him to learn about Pearl Harbor there. You know what I mean? Last weekend we went down to Corpus. We went to the USS Lexington. Learned about the battleship. Learned about Pearl Harbor. Learned about fighter planes. You know what I mean?
That's super cool.
Yeah, he put his hands on all those things. You know what I mean? He didn't look at them in a textbook about what somebody else said. We went to the source and we learned about it. You know what I mean? I don't want him learning from a teacher. Shout out teachers because not all of them are like this, but some teachers go to work just to get a paycheck. You know what I mean? They don't go to work because they don't, like y'all talked about that professor with Cade on your interview. If y'all haven't seen his interview with Cade, y'all need to go watch that. Very good guy, very great interview.
Thank you, sir.
So shout out Cade. That was
Cade.
huge. He's a great dude. And y'all talked about that. Y'all talked about, a professor that made an impact on you because he wanted you to learn, you know what I mean? And he wasn't there just for the money, and that is huge to me. And like I said, I've been in a lot of hospitals and I can tell the difference between a nurse that's there for the money and a nurse that's there to make sure I feel better.
Right.
You know what
agree.
I mean?
Yeah.
And goes the same with teachers. I don't want to stick my kid in a classroom with a teacher who don't care about him learning, who just cares about being there for our money and getting the right amount of numbers for the state. You know what I mean? So that they can keep their job or so that they can get a raise. I want to be the one showing him from the source, like I said, like the Capitol or the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Or I want to bring him to those kind of places where it's a lasting impact on what you learn instead of, I don't remember half the stuff I read through in a textbook that my teacher made me memorize because I had to memorize it,
Man, honestly, I think you have a pretty good idea on how to live, and not just how to live, but how to teach and how to learn. I feel like we need to get you a camper, my brother. Like,
well, see,
that's what we need.
Here's the end goal, and I'll get to that.
All that tent stuff is nonsense.
So here's the end goal. I will kind of like wrap up like all the background plan, because we kind of went over, like where would we stay in. So the health thing and not planning ahead is like what my plan ahead is like I have to call the clinics a week ahead of time to make sure that they have a spot for me and all that kind of stuff. So what my plan is in each location I'll plan to do 3 treatments, which is a week's worth of time. Because I go Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Right. So after my last treatment on a Saturday night or Sunday morning, we'll leave to head to the next location, make sure we're there by Tuesday. Wow. And I'll be there.
Dude, you can totally start, recording this process.
So, guess what?
And, sponsors would be.
So talking about the gear thing, over these last few months, like I said, I've got the tent, I've got that, but I've also invested in a very nice podcast setup with a 360 Go camera. That way, like we can bring it to the water parks, we can bring it in the places. Is that
like the clip-on mic?
Yeah, the clip-on the mic and the clip-on camera. Wow. It goes on your hat or your shirt or whatever. Wow. And I plan on recording all of our adventures that we do and uploading to YouTube. And I've already started the YouTube channel for me and Ryan. I've already got the.
What's it called?
It's just my name right now, just Collin Gunter, and it's youtube.com/Collin Gunter, capital C, capital G. And it's made, and I have like a brief summary, and I'm gonna put a quick, we've been going for an hour here of like my background, but I'm gonna give a little bit quicker background story. I haven't recorded it yet because every time I tell my background, it's very long, and I have to figure out the right ways to.
Yeah, well, we got all day.
Yeah, we do. But I want a quick background for my YouTube. That way, that people that are interested can just like get a quick summary. You know, what I mean? I'm trying. If I can get it down to 20 or 30 minutes, that's kind of my like goal of like being able to tell my whole story, my whole plan in 20 to 30 minutes for people that want to see it. And as we go, I'm going to record me and him, and he knows about it. He's super, super excited because he watches a lot of like father-son, father-daughter YouTube videos where they like open stuff and play with toys and go places and stuff. So, and even when I told him about it, he was like, "Oh my God, I can't wait. I've always wanted to do YouTube." He said, "I'm in charge of the thumbnails. Nice. I get to pick the thumbnails." Wow. You know, and along with that, you know, I already know.
You teach him how to work through social media. He will never have to think about money.
And the thing is, like, I already edit videos. I already know how to edit. I already know.
It's a good skill.
I already know how to do that. I already have the setup. Like I said, we were talking about before we started, I sold my desktop setup, and I bought a nice laptop, i7, 32 gigabytes of RAM. Very nice gaming, like, good laptop that can handle everything. So, and I bought the vlog setup. I already have it all ready to go. So, and I do 4 hours of dialysis where I don't do anything. I just have to sit in a chair with the thing, and I can do all the video editing and all that right then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I already have it planned. I already got that planned.
So, is he going to go with you while you go to your appointments?
Yeah. So what we'll do is
we could put him on. We could give him a couple jobs too.
Yeah. Well, right now, like, I let him decide what he wants to do.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Can be a controversial topic, so I'll go ahead and start this by saying in Texas, there's no legal age to leave a kid by themselves as long as they are competent and have like food, water, all that kind of stuff. Like, it's not against the law for a kid to stay by themselves. And if you think about it, think about all the single parents that have to leave their kid at home when they go to work, and they have to go work a 4 to 8 hour shift. And I know my mom used to go to work and leave me at home, and me and my brother were like 8, 10. You know what I mean? It just depends on like how mature that person is. Right. You know what I mean? So we've been practicing, and right now he can either come with me and he can sit in the lobby and watch his tablet or whatever, and I'm right there at the door. Or honestly, I let him stay at home by himself right now. He has a cell phone that he can call me or 911. A flip phone. I check him. He calls me every hour on the hour to check in, just to make sure that everything's okay, all that kind of stuff. And like I said, he's very responsible. He won't go get something out of the refrigerator or out of the pantry without calling me and be like, "Hey, Dad, do you care if I grab an Uncrustable out of the fridge? Or do you care if I get a Dr. Pepper?" Like, he's super, super responsible. Right. And so I let him make the choices. Even now, we've been, like I said, I'm not just winging this. We've been practicing over the last few months. And even now, when I go to dialysis, I have people here in town that will watch him. I say, "Do you want to go to your grandpa's? Do you want to go to your maymay's? Do you want to go with me to the dialysis, or do you want to stay home?" And I let him make that decision. And sometimes he wants to go, with whoever. Sometimes he wants to stay at home by himself. Sometimes he wants to come to the clinic with me. So my thing is, he can come in the waiting room. He can sit there and watch his tablet, and it's no big deal. And if he needs me, I'm right through the doorway. Also, in the car, I have a 3-way camera, which views the inside of the car, front of the car, and the back of the car. Cool. And I can look at it on my phone at any time, live feed. So if he wants to, I will, and we're in a place that's okay, I'll just leave the car running. Right. He can adjust the air conditioner how he wants. He can sit in the car. I'm right inside. If he needs me, all he has to do is open the door and come knock, or call me on his phone. Yeah. And it ain't no thing for them to unhook me. It takes 5 minutes. So, like, all they have to do is unhook me, and I'll get whatever he needs. You know what I mean? Or he's got his flip phone. He can, if something happens, somebody's knocking on the door, just dial 911. He knows. You know what I mean? He knows. Right, yeah. he's a very responsible kid. So that was like, I was touching on the big three: money, where we're gonna stay, childcare.
Right.
And when we go places that I have friends, like he can stay with Trent, or he can stay with my sister, or he can stay with Tim, or whatever. It ain't whatever he wants to do, and that goes back to letting him make the decisions. I don't make him do anything. I do not make him do nothing unless it's like a decision that's like best for him, and he doesn't understand it yet. But I let him make those decisions. So like, and I have the setup, like I said, for the car, so that like I can look at it at any point and see like, is he in there doing good? You know what I mean? Is he okay? It runs 24/7. It's live feed. You know what I mean?
I think that if you could work out all the kinks in your plan and kind of mold it to where, because I mean, and you never really mold it until you actually get into the grit.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll never 100% have, like, as we go along, there will definitely be things that come up. You know what I mean? But I honestly, like I said, I think that I have practiced and planned pretty well. Yeah. Like,
if you're set on moving forward with this and you're gonna do it, you need to commit. Because if you're set on creating content and making this big play, I think you have a great story and you have a great platform to move forward on. And if you market yourself and your story perfectly, then you can see much success. If I were you, I would contact all of the locations that you're doing the dialysis and like kind of let them know what you're doing, and who knows, they may even support it.
Exactly.
Because again, I think it's very important to follow your dream.
100%. And like I said, I think this is like I'm a pretty religious person now after everything, and I just feel like this is kind of like my path, man. This is what God wants people to hear that like. There's tons of videos out there on the internet of water parks. There's tons of videos of Yellowstone National Park. There's tons of videos of every place we're going to go to. There will probably be a much well-made video than I'm going to make, but it's not about the video. It's about my story. It's about I'm doing it as a single dad with my 6-year-old, and I have kidney failure and I have diabetes, and watch us still succeed and do that. And I think that people will follow my story. They'll watch, what we do, but they're not following really for where we're going. They're following to watch of what we're going to do. And like you said about the camper van, really my end goal is if we can just get a little bit of traction, it won't be no thing to, have a sponsorship in the YouTube videos. Somebody has a Stanley Cup they want to sell. I do a 1-minute ad on the Stanley Cup that they gave to me for free, or maybe something that would help the trip, like a better tent or something. Actually, the end goal is a camper van. Maybe I can get a camper van company to sponsor us. In every video, I'll say this camper van company gave us for free. And like I said, if it gets a little bit of traction, them giving me that van and for the sponsorship will maybe allow them to have 10 more people buy vans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I said, end goal is a camper van. End goal is to be able to have that and go. But
hey, if you get that camper van sponsorship, you send them my way too.
Hey,
right?
I will. I am not playing. But you can't wait until you get those kind of things to start.
Yeah.
So
you never know until things pop up.
Yeah, and that's my plan of why I have everything kind of baselined right now. I have all the basic stuff, and we're gonna start with the basic stuff. And I have like a checklist of a wish list, of upgrades that I'm gonna post when I post my list of places we go. And if people want to sponsor, if people want to help out, and I'm gonna post it on the YouTube video every time at the end of the list. And on the list, I'm gonna put, say you wanted to buy, there's a couple things on there that I can think of off the top of the house, like a battery jumper pack is something I want for the car, a nice one. So that's on the list, and I have it on the list with a link to it where you can just click on it, and you could buy that for me.
And then it gets credit.
And then what I'll do is at the end of the video, I'll post the list, and I'll put Jared sponsored this. That way they get their credit, they get their like recognition, and they also supported our journey without just asking people. Like, you don't want to just ask people for money. You know what I mean? I don't want to be like, just like, hey, we're going on this trip. Can you send me money? Instead of just sending me money, look through the list of things you could upgrade for us, like upgrade the tent, upgrade the blah, 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 and even companies, you know what I mean? If a company wants to look at it and be like,
how would they get this to you if you're on the road? So
okay,
what would be a good, like, if they were to send it to you?
So I do have a permanent address of my brother that they could send it to send, and he could send it to me wherever I'm at. But also, most of the things are Amazon related, and anywhere you go has Amazon drop boxes. Say we're in Houston, like, 'cause we're in Houston right now, you know. Say we're in Houston for the week. I'm doing my treatments in Houston for the week. I can update that we're going to be in Houston. The person that wants to send it to me should probably get in contact with me first, you know what I mean? Say, right. Hey, we're this company. We want to buy you this item. If you don't mind, you know, showcasing it on your video, we'll send it to you for free, or a discounted price, or whatever else it is. You know what I mean? Where are you going to be at so we can send it to you? And then I look up. There's an Amazon Dropbox. You know, there's probably one a couple miles away, and I give them the address to that Dropbox. What they are is they're like a location with a big old box with a lock on it, and they drop your Amazon packages there.
Amazon is so crazy.
Yeah, and you get like a passcode that nobody else has, and you put your passcode in, and then the box unlocks, and you can get your items out. So like, and if it doesn't like work like that, or they don't want to send it like that, I do have a permanent address that is my brother, that they could send it to his house, and he could get it to me. You know? So I do have that worked out as well.
Wow, man. Yeah, you've done.
Like I said, I've done my
thinking.
research.
Yeah.
We're not winging this. I have really, really done like as much base background I think as I can. Like we both said, and that was something Trent told me too. Is like, you have a good plan, but things are going to come up. And I understand that. And like I told you before we started, I'm a very go with the flow kind of guy. So like, anything that comes up, I don't mind. Like, I'm going to learn from that. Even like sitting and talking with you, like that, with you asking me questions about things. And that's what I want. You know what? I want people to question what I have going on, because if I don't have the answer for that, that's huge. Like, you just put something in my mind that I don't have the answer for. But everybody that I've sat and talked with, even like with you, I have the answer for every kind of like concern or kind of thing that. Yeah,
and all you really need is a small concept to begin the journey. 100%. You know, like,
and then as you grow, like, people will like I said, I think people will support my journey. So as they support, you know, it only like upgrades the tent. It only upgrades like the battery pack. It only upgrades having a nicer like a Jackery or a you know, I have on there, what's Elon's internet thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like Starlink. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody wants to pay for the Starlink, then we'll have better internet. You know what I mean? Like, there's always upgrades that can be made, but just getting started.
If I ever hit any success, I'm getting you a big tent with a bed, baby. Like, we got to get you the bed.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. But like, yeah, man, I think everything starts somewhere, you know, like the biggest thing is just going. The biggest thing is just getting started, you know, because you could wait until you have the best gear. You could wait until, but then you'll be waiting forever.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I
That's
mean?
the key word, waiting. And sometimes, you know,
I have like I said, waiting isn't in my cards, you know, and that's kind of why, like, I'm ready. I already got them out of school.
Most people that wait, they never start.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
They're always waiting.
Even people that are fine, you know what I mean? They end up being. I talked to when I was telling this to one of my friends. I won't name her on here because we just won't. But I was telling her the plan, and she was like, I was like, how much do you pay for rent? And she told me the amount, and I said, okay, how long have you been living there? And she said, 2 years. And I said, how much money do you have saved up? And she said, I live paycheck to paycheck. I have like $100 in the bank.
Right.
I said, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Me personally, and each person their own, I have no want for like materialistic things. I have no want to own a house. Like, I don't care to own a house. I could live in apartments or whatever else for the rest of my life, and I would be happy. I don't I don't have the need to have a materialistic thing to set in like a place. I would like, a paid off car is nice. You know what I mean? That's different because we're using it all the time. Sure. But like, there's nothing materialistic that I want to just like own. I would rather spend that money that I would buy a house with or whatever else on just the experiences that I'm going to have with my kid before I die. That's just to be completely honest with you. And like I said, waiting isn't in my cards. You know what I mean? In 10 years, in 20 years, I might be fine. You know what I mean? They might have came up with a cure. They might have like whatever, but also I might be where I can't get around. I can't walk national parks. I can't make it through a nature trail. You know what I mean? I can't do those things with my kid, but right now I can. So while I can do it, while I have the base, while I have the idea, I want to send it, and that's just me.
You can't ever worry about what anybody else has to say.
No,
I think the art of not caring what other people's opinions are is very big, and it's
hard to do too.
If I cared about what everybody said, I would have never even thought about starting this,
100%.
And that goes for anything, and here we are. This will be episode 28, the official episode 28. So
that's awesome.
So we're chipping away at it, but yeah, man, it's crazy that, a lot of people, they want to put their 2 cents in and kind of, I'm all about encouragement.
Mm-hmm.
I think that anybody that has a plan, if they are willing to put the effort in to execute the plan, I think that it's amazing, and I think it takes a real devotion to follow through with things that you say, because most people don't have that ability. Most people say, oh, I'm going to do this, so I'm going to do that, and never do it. They never do it. Yeah. And it seems like you are willing to commit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that commitment is very big.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, like I started out by saying is like, I'm huge on encouragement too. And as long as what you're doing is not affecting the next person, you know what I mean? As long as what you're this is what I started it out with. As long as what you decided to do isn't going to negatively impact somebody else, then what they have to say about it is irrelevant. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, as long as what you're doing is you're the one, like I said, you're the one that's going to have to deal with that. When you meet your maker, whenever you meet whatever you believe in after this life, you're the one that's going to have to deal with that, not that person who told you something about it. What they said doesn't matter. What you went through and what you chose to do is what you're going to have to deal with.
Right. And people's opinions, it's an opinion, but they usually think that they're right, and no matter what opinion that may be, everybody thinks that they're right.
And that's my big thing about talking to people as my plan. Like I said, as I go into different dialysis centers, I talk to the nurses and I say, like, what do you think? You know what I mean? And it's not because I really like am going to do exactly what they say, but it's because everybody's been through different things.
Yeah. What advice do they ever give you? What is anything crazy?
So far everybody's been like super on board, and like kind of like you, like they've questioned a couple things, but I had the answers for them. And
what kind of things did people been concerned for?
Money was mostly was most people's like concern. Is like that's one of the biggest things.
Yeah. It takes a lot to go out and venture out into the wild. You know, it everything costs money, and things pop up, and usually things that pop up are at a cost, and so I know my camera fell earlier, and it busted up a wire, and I'm having trouble. We're recording today from an alternative route, but it's not my usual route. But yeah, man, things pop up, and not everything is going to be A, B, C, D.
100%. But that's life,
and that's right. And that's what I was going to say. I think you have a good grasp on the idea that life is full of variation. Life is full of different pathways and different approaches to things, and you could approach things differently, and kind of you can plan for a certain outcome, but sometimes outcomes change, and life is crazy.
And 100%. And that's what makes us who we are. I think like you can plan for something, but that's still whatever you go through getting there is going to make you who you are. Just like your interview with Cade,
Right,
you know what I mean? Like, y'all talked, I could never do what he did, going through what he went through, going through all the schooling and all that stuff. But what he went through and all the schooling and all that kind of stuff, that led him to be where he's at as a doctor and like a successful person and be able to have the mindset he has. Like, each person goes through their own. I went through the diabetes and kidney failure. That's kind of what led me to here. I would not be here if I wouldn't have done that. I was not on this path. This is never who I was. You know, like I said, I was a hothead. I was quick to go. You know what I mean? This is not the person I was. But each person goes through their own trials and tribulations, and that turns you into who you are. You know, so you can't put a cap on that, you know what I mean? You kind of just got to let people be who they are, and this is the path that I'm on, and that's my journey, and that's my plan. So here I am.
Wow. Well, it's amazing, man, and I love that you're passionate about it. I love that you're highly motivated to make the dream, not only your dreams come true, but also the dreams of your son, and you know you're kind of presenting the world on a silver platter to for his experience and for yours, and I think that's amazing. You know, I think that you are making I think that you are a very pure person, and you know
Thank you.
Again, shout out to Trent, because you know you and we met each other through Trent, and you know, I think we were all laughing because Trent was saying, I think it was me, Trent, Mason, and I think Tim also, and we were all laughing because we were like, man, everybody that Trent is friends with, we all get along.
Yeah,
you know, like so Trent, like
it shows like a pure person, like
Yeah.
it attracts pure people, you know what I mean? And I think that's another thing about like just sharing. Like I said, like you said, every person that I know that has met Trent, even after his fights now, you know what I mean? He's not as big as I think he should be. Even after his fights now, he goes, like last fight, we were all his friends, we were all standing there waiting.
Yeah.
And before he even came over to us, before he did see his mom and his grandma, shout out his mom and grandma.
Yeah.
But before he came over to like the friends, he went over to the fans that were there for him. He was shaking their hands. He was telling them, thank you for coming. He was telling them, like, I appreciate you being here. You know what I mean? And then after an hour, it was probably an hour or two of him taking pictures with people and stuff.
signing people's heads.
Yeah, then he came over to his friends that were there. You know what I mean? We're gonna be there regardless.
We
ride
ride with
we don't
him,
mind waiting, but and that just shows. You know what I mean? He didn't come out of the cage instantly dabbing up his boys like, yeah, what's up? You know what I mean? Glad you're here. He instantly went to the fans, and it just shows like pure people attract pure people, and genuine. If you're a genuine person, you're gonna attract and get that genuine success and genuine like people around you, and like I love that.
It's very important to keep around good people.
100%,
to keep around good friends and people that have you know, good ideals, you know,
the best
about
intentions for you. You know what I mean?
Right,
I know that I can call Tim. I know that I can call Trent. I know that I can call Mason, and they are going to 100% keep it real with me. Like even if I have I've had some bad ideas, and I've done some dumb things, and I can tell you I can count on my hand the times that I've done dumb things, and Tim has called me and been like, what the heck are you thinking?
Right. Yeah.
Why? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And if you don't get your crap together, we're going to get out in the yard, and I'm going to show you why you need to get your crap together. You know what I'm saying? I've been dumb enough to get on that mat with Trent.
Oh,
and
crap.
He told me, he said, how many times do you think I can tap you out in 1 minute? And I was like, I don't know, 30. And he was like, you just disrespected me. And I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot. Like, he got on that mat and he tapped me out probably 20 times in 1 minute.
Crap.
And the next day I was sore. Like, I keep genuine. If you keep genuine people around, you're gonna have a genuine life. You know what I mean? He's always gonna keep it real with me, and I'm so thankful for like that kind of people.
Honestly, I'll never forget the very first time that we like kind of hung out and had a drink or two. I was like, man, you know, let's go wrestle a little bit. Like, you know, you say you fight. I didn't know, like I didn't know the whole history, and he was like. He's like, man, come to class tomorrow. And he was like, I'll get you.
Come to the gym.
He was like, you can, I'll pair you up with some of the girls. And I was like, oh man, I can't believe that. And then I actually went to the class, and they had like the like I guess the higher level people in the class
Higher
before.
belts, yeah.
And man, he was in there teaching that class, and they were rolling, and I was watching, and I'm like, oh God, hey Trent, I'm just kidding, buddy. I'm just playing.
Tim and Trent used to have a mat in their living room.
Oh,
they
crap.
moved all the furniture out, and they had a couch, and they had a mat in the living room, and they would practice all the time together.
Wow.
Like because they lived together, and I would be over there hanging out often, and Trent would try to get me on the mat, and they both would all the time.
I think it's a good sport.
And I knew like where I stood, you know. I never would get on the mat with them because
they probably could have. They probably would. I mean, they'll teach you.
I talked a lot of crap with them, you know what I mean. So they would always like be like, "All right, go on, let's get on the mat," you know. And I would be like, "Nah," you know. I'd always make an excuse, you know what I'm saying. But one night we were having a couple drinks, and that's when I told Trent, I was like, you know what, I'll give you your chance. And we went in my living room, and man, I would tell you that's the most humbled I've ever been in my life. Because I was thinking, you know, somebody put you in a headlock, you're thinking, you know, I can hold my breath for 30 seconds. But somebody put you in an arm bar, and he put me in an arm bar, and I was like, he put me in an arm bar. He put me in an arm bar, and I was like, break it. Break it. And he was like, you better quit being dumb, I'm gonna hurt you. And I was like, all right. And I tapped out, and then he did, like I said, he tapped me a bunch of times in that time, and I was very humbled by
it's crazy
by what he does.
It's crazy how you could submit somebody
with
just simple body positioning and leverage, you know.
And if you look at Trent, you know, like walking around, like if you would go to, like, I know Trent works at a restaurant, and you know, if you were to go to that restaurant, Trent's your waiter, you know what I mean? Trent's your waiter. You're like looking at this dude like, whatever. This dude couldn't beat me up. You know what I mean? But then if you would get outside, you would not win. That's somebody you would not want to run into. But he's like the sweetest dude ever. You know, never use it in any way besides the sport he does. And like I said, he's a peak fighting championship belt holder right now.
Man.
So undefeated.
Yeah, man. I'm really proud of him.
I'm very proud to call him my friend.
He's done some really amazing things, and the stuff that he does is not easy.
No,
you know, and he makes it look easy.
He does make it look easy, and like I said, he works a full time job while he does it. Supports himself. He's got a nice girl on his side.
Shout out Aram. We love her.
Yeah, we do, and she's always been there supporting. And it's amazing to see but it's all about the journey, you know. Like even we've talked about a couple different people on here, and everybody's like done different things, you know. But everybody has done what's meant for them, and I think that that's the biggest thing in life is like find what's meant for you and do it. And again, going back to you and Cade's podcast, y'all talked about that. You know, you talked about like people dabbling in different things so that they can figure out what their path is. You know, don't think that you have to just do one thing because as a kid, you were told by somebody that you're going to be good at something, so you only focus on that. You know, spread your horizons and find what's really meant for you in life and, like, do that thing, you know, because, like I said, I never thought me just telling a testimony or me preaching was anywhere I would go in my life. But where I'm at now, I really, truly feel that, like I said, this was the path that God put me on, and I truly feel like I've done a lot of different things in my life, a lot of different jobs, a lot of different things, good and bad, and like I wouldn't change it for anything because I think I finally found what is my calling, you know, and I think it's huge for people to do that, you know.
Yeah, it's like, it's very enlightening too.
Yeah,
like
it
when
is.
You see the vision.
Yeah,
it's
once you get your thing, like once you get to where you're at, like I said, I tell people about this everywhere I go. Every person I get to, I tell my story because I feel like that's my thing. You know what I mean? And like I said at the beginning, you don't have to agree. You don't have to go with it. But if you take one little piece of positive advice out of what I said, then to me, that's success. Or if I reach one kid that has diabetes, or one teenager that doesn't want to continue on with their kidney failure, because I've been in that. I was in that situation where I was like, don't put a Newport in. I'm done. You know what I mean? I don't want to do this medicine for the rest of my life. You know, like, I don't. I'm sorry, but I don't want to go through that for the rest of my life. And, you know, there was different people, like I said, my friends that kind of motivated me to go. And some people don't have that. Some people don't have that support system. Some people are just like at the end of their road and they don't want to keep going. I've been in multiple different dialysis centers, and I can walk around that center and it's full every time. And it's mostly old people, but I see young people in there that have given up. You know what I mean? And every time I stopped by and I talk to them, and I'm like, you can do this, you know? And to me, like I said, if I affect one person, then that's good for me. I'm happy with what I did.
Right,
and if people don't like it, then it's not affecting them personally. You know what I mean? You don't have to listen to what I have to say. But the people that do listen to what I have to say, this changed their life. You know what I mean? And to me, that's my path I'm on. I want to change people's life. I want to go to that kid that's in Texas Children like I was for the 2 weeks. Then, you know, he's in his mindset of, I'm not going to take this diabetes medicine because I can't be like them other kids. I want to go to him and say, man, you don't want this kidney failure. You don't do what you need to do. And like I said, I had people in my life tell me that, and I didn't listen to them. And I tell them all the time now, my grandparents, my parents alike, I tell them, man, I'm sorry that I didn't listen to you, and I really wish I would have. You know, you were right, and I was wrong in that fact.
Yeah.
And if I can get through to that one person, man, that is a success for me, and I can leave happy. You know what I mean? So
it's crazy how things mold who you become, you know,
100%.
and things happen to you, and it kind of the outcome of your whole life changes, you know, and most of the time, you know, it's for almost the better, you know, because my thing is everything happens as it should
for a reason,
you know, and
we don't know the reason all the time.
Yes,
and a lot of the times we may never find out the reason. Maybe we don't find it out until after we're dead. You know what I mean? Maybe we die and we have to meet our maker before we're enlightened on why things happen. But everything, I'm a very firm believer with everything happens for a reason. You know, like a lot of the times we're real short-minded and we're looking at like the now and we don't see like. I can't tell you how many times I like sat around and I asked God, why did he do this? You know what I mean? But now I look back and like you said, it's not a good thing to have what I have, but it is. And I don't want, you know what I mean? I don't wish it on anybody, but I'm thankful for what I've been through because if I wasn't,
you seem to be a fantastic role model for people in that realm.
Yeah,
you know?
and if I wouldn't have went through it, you know what I mean? If I wouldn't have done it, then I would not be given the advice that I'm giving, and maybe I wouldn't be changing people's lives like I plan to change people's lives. So like I don't harbor any like resentment for what I'm given or what I've had to go through, but I also know that like I was put through it for a reason. So if another person is going through it, there's a reason, and they're gonna have an effect on somebody or something. You know what I mean? Just because they can't see it right now doesn't mean I shouldn't open their eyes to that, right? Or try to.
And let me just say, life is beautiful.
Oh,
you know?
100%. And every day now that I wake up, like I said, I woke up on that machine, and every day that I've woke up from there, I was very depressed from that, and from. Before that, I was very depressed.
Machine?
Whenever I got incubated, whenever I was like
after
what got my kidney failure first.
Yeah.
You know, I spent that time in the hospital, and before that, I was a super depressed person that was like, I don't care if I die. You know what I mean? Like I was like that, and now I wake up. You know what I mean? Even when I like have a sickness, and I go to the hospital or something. I say like I don't want to die. You know what I mean? Life is beautiful, and every single day that I wake up, I'm so thankful. And like people are like, how you doing? I'm like, I tell people now. Used to it was like, and just another day. You know what I mean? Or living the dream or whatever. But now it's like, I'm thankful that God woke me up today. Like, period. That's it. He woke me up today, and I can't be any more grateful for that. I have the chance and opportunity today to make it a good day. Everybody can you can wake up and be mad at the world every day, or you can wake up and be thankful and like realize how beautiful just life is and life can be.
And I think that has to go back to the fact that, you know, people that have everything almost seem to be
not as
less
happy.
appreciative, you know, in a sense of if they've always had everything and they have everything, they don't know any different. But when you don't have anything and then you have something, it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I say that, like, for instance, if let's say I'm running around and I'm let's say I'm doing dishes, I'm doing laundry, running around, doing everything. Let's say that night I stub my toe, for example, break my toe. I didn't fully appreciate the ability that I had to move my foot, and to
be able to do all those things that you didn't want to do.
And now I have a broken toe, and it's like, oh my God, like, why didn't I? It was just so nice to not have a broken toe, So.
And I think that goes back to like the whole reason behind why I have the plan that I have is because I have been in that spot to where I know that how bad it can get. Right. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like what you said. Like you didn't enjoy doing the dishes and the clothes and all that stuff, but the next day you have to do it with a broken foot, and you really don't enjoy it then.
Exactly.
And that's why like I planned this trip and stuff like that is because I have been in that hospital bed. I know what this disease can do. So if I ever get back to that point, I want to be able to look back and say, while I was able to, I did all these things, that was a huge eye opener for me because I know where it can go. Mm-hmm. And maybe it won't never go there again. And hopefully, and I pray that it won't. But if it does, I know that I did the things that I wanted to do while I could do them. Right. And while I could give my kid that, I did that. Maybe I in 5 years, I have to live where I'm on the machine all the time. You know what I mean? Pray that I'm not, and I hope that I'm not. But I have been there, and I know the kind of consequences that it gives, that you can't go do these things. So while I'm healthy, while I'm good, and the treatments are working and everything like that, why am I wasting my time? Like, why would I waste my time slaving away at a job? Or why am I wasting my money doing things like going out to clubs and stuff like that whenever I could be spending that on experiences that I want with my kid, to each their own, Some people don't have kids and they go to clubs and that's what they use their money on or whatever,
Some
and I don't
have
hate that.
Kids and they go to clubs.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't.
Leave the kids at home.
Yeah, I'm not against. I'm not against that, but I know for me in my life, what I have already seen what could be and what I want to be. So like I don't need that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
I made a post the other day that said, if my kid can't go, I won't be there. And I stand by that. Right. Like I'm with my son 24/7. If there's something that I can't bring my son to, like a club for instance, or say there's an amusement park that I like, but he can't do the rides and stuff, I'm not going.
Right.
Like I'm not doing it. I know where where I want to be, and that's with him. You know what I mean? That's showing him the world. And if my kid can't get in, I don't go. That's just, it is what it is, And I had somebody comment on it and say, well, you should enjoy time away from your kid. And she was like, I love being able to go to rated R movies or out to eat without my kid. And I said, well, I told her, to each your own. But to me, I don't want to see that rated R movie if I can't we go with my kid. I'd rather go see Up 2 or something like that. And even I went on like a little personal vacation where I went to like a little resort and got a massage.
Oh,
and
wow.
Yeah, like it was like a little me time.
What, one of them Vietnamese massages, huh?
No, it was actually Moody Gardens. I went and stayed.
Okay,
I went and stayed at Moody Gardens for a weekend, and I got the suite. I got a little golf package. I went golfing by myself.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah,
you play golf?
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm
not very good. Yeah, I'm not. I definitely wasn't meant to be on that course with the people that were on there. Trust me, they were rushing past me, and they weren't happy that I was hitting like 8 shots on each hole.
It happens.
But I didn't. Like I said, I don't care what people think about me. So it didn't bother me at all. I waved at them and told them have a good course. You know what I mean? And all that kind of stuff. But the point of this story is like when I was there, I went to the aquarium and I was just walking around and I was thinking, man, this would be so much better if my son was here.
Yeah.
And like my thing, that's my thing.
That's
is
your
like
person, you
that's
know?
my
Yeah.
that's my dude. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing in this world that I want to do without him. And
Right.
that goes back to like I don't want to go watch a rated R movie because he can't get in. I would rather go watch we just went to the movies the other day and watched that movie about the feelings that just came out. I can't remember what it's
I'm not
called,
sure either.
but we went and watched it. It's number 2. It's something he wanted to watch, and I had no want to go see, you know, like a scary movie or something that he can't get
Right,
into.
yeah.
Like I wanted to go see that movie because he wanted to go see it. You know what I mean? Like it's just he's the most important person in my life, and like there's nothing I want to do without him. That's the whole point of this.
You said
this
you won
trip, so.
custody from?
Yeah, so I do. I have full custody now. I do still pay child support, which is
That's weird.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
The welcome to the state of Texas, but I'm
So
working
what
on
happened with that? I mean, is that something you want to talk about a little bit or not?
I
really?
don't know really because I don't want to put his mother in a bad light.
Yeah,
I have 2 daughters as well, which live here in Houston, and
okay.
shout out their mom. She is the greatest. She's remarried. She has a husband. They have a stepdad, and they've been remarried for I think about. They're 11 and 9. My 2 daughters.
Oh, wow.
Shout out Skyla and Mia. That's my 2 daughters. They're 11 and 9.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's
But
cool.
they like I said, I will always put my kids' lives first, and
Right.
they have a great mother. Their mother is very good. I'm not on child support with her. We have a very good relationship. I can call her and see them whenever I want. My daughter has a phone. We talk pretty much every day. You know, I don't get to see them as much in person as I'd like, but like I said, that doesn't affect their life in a negative way. They have a very great stepdad, and shout out to him because that's a huge responsibility to take on, and you're a hell of a dude for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I have really have the utmost respect for him, you know, because raising kids that aren't your own is a tall task to order, and I will always respect him a lot for that. You know what I mean? And it's taken a little bit to get to that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
right, yeah.
you know, I'm sure that she probably doesn't look at me the same way as I look at her, but I have like, she is the greatest person in the world to me, you know what I mean? And for what she does. But
Right.
like I said, my daughters, they're in school. They have friends here in Houston. They do cheer, they do softball.
Oh, that's awesome.
And like, they have a bunch of extracurricular activities that are here. So if I
there's
was
a couple state parks around here,
yeah.
I'm just
So
saying.
and when I come visit, I'll definitely see them, you know. And like when I have doctor's appointments here, I'll stop by their house and
that's
see them, you
nice,
know.
yeah.
But I would never try to take them away from the situation that they're in.
Right,
Like
yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm trying to get custody and you come live with me because I'm your dad. I want the best life for my children, regardless
Right,
if
yeah.
that's with me, that's with their mom, that's with so. I'd say that because I don't want to put his mother in a bad light, even though she's not in a good place right now, and there's a reason why I have him, and he's better off with me. I still want him to have his mom, and he knows what's going on. Like I said, I'm completely honest with him, so he knows like her situation, you know, and all that kind of stuff, and I don't keep it away from him. And if he ever wants to get to know her and she wants to get to know him, then I will definitely allow that. You know what I mean? That's something that I would definitely like. I'm always open to because I think a kid needs both parents, you know, and I'll never take that away from my son. So I won't paint her in a bad picture because I don't want to do that to him. Even though the truth is a bad picture, that's kind of why I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, and people grow up too. You
Yeah,
know?
100%.
And people become people have their story. You
Exactly,
know?
and
so,
like I said with
like I
my daughter, like I said with my daughter's mom, like 5-6 years ago, I wasn't in the best place. You know what I mean? And she did a lot for them, and when I wasn't doing anything for them, you know.
Right,
and I can admit that now because I know that I went through that. You know what I mean? And it is a hard thing that I don't get to be with them all the time, but
Right,
I also know that they are living a great life. You know what I mean? Like my daughter goes on cheer competitions. She gets to go to Disneyland. She gets to go like to places like that on cheer competitions and stuff. And I don't have the means and stuff that I wouldn't be able to do things like that for her that her parents now do for her, you know? So I am like eternally grateful for that. And like I said, it's all about the kids. Like I
Yeah.
brought them into this world, you know, and I want them to have the most success that they can have. Like,
Right,
like I
yeah.
said, I'll shout out their mom again because she is like, she does everything for them that I couldn't do.
Isn't
you
it
know?
amazing? And shout out to women in general because you know, it's amazing. Some of the things that I see women doing, it's insane in
Yes.
a sense of they are so they're so effective in what they do. You know, like I know you know, women are strong. You know,
100%,
they're
She had both my girls natural birth, like at the hospital.
Wow.
I was there with her, and like I said, strongest person I know, most amazing person I know. And it didn't work out between us. You know, she's my ex-wife, and she's remarried. And like I said, if I was in a better place as I am now, maybe it would have been different. But everything happens for a reason, you know. And I will always love her, and I will always like. I go to her for advice and stuff now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a great relationship. And like I said, she might not think exactly the same about me, but that's okay. You know what I mean? I know that I will forever look up to her, and I didn't like bring it up because like they have their own private life, you know, and I kind of want to leave that there. And like I said, my daughters have a very good life and stuff like that. And that's kind of why I'm mainly only talked about my son because I'm in full control of him. I'm not in full control of them, you know.
Right.
But shout out my daughters because I love them very much and they are amazing. And but like I said, with his mom, I don't have any resentment towards or anything. I really like I pray and hope, and me and her mom talk all the time. He goes over there to his grandma's house. You know what I mean?
Very sorry about that.
No, it's okay. She's fine. She's like some Band-Aids.
I think that it's very important for people in relationships to understand that you're in a relationship, and once that relationship doesn't work out, things don't have to be aggressive or it doesn't have to be full of animosity, you know. And I think that that's something that I had to learn as I grew up too myself, you know, because I would have girlfriends and even friendships with people, and you know, something would happen and you know, I would be quick to say something and it would just cause so many problems and so much animosity where
It didn't have to be like that.
It didn't have to be like that. Whereas, you know, looking back, or not even looking back, even, you know, most recently in the past year or two, I go through, like, you know, I have friendships or girlfriends that don't work out and we're still friends. Like, you know, like even just recently, just a couple days ago, you know, a girl that I had, you know, had relationship with, you know, within the past year and a half, you know, she invited me over to a live concert at her apartment in the big rooftop bar. I mean, 45.
And it doesn't have to be weird.
It doesn't have to be weird.
When you're like in a relationship or something like that, you share like a lot of life and experiences and stuff with that person. You know what I mean? So even though like. And like it's the same with like choosing your path, a career and stuff like that. Not every person's meant for each other. You know what I mean?
And
like
that's the
you're,
truth.
maybe you're meant to be friends more than you are meant to be in a romantic
encounter with that
encounter.
person.
You know what I mean? Like I have some friends that are girls that we tried, and just because it didn't work out doesn't mean that we can't be friends. But like you said too, it is a learning experience. Like I said, when me and my daughter's moms broke up, I fought every single dude that she went out with. Like if I seen her with a guy at the bar, didn't even say nothing. He was getting hit. Like that was a part of me. Like I said, that was not where I am now. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not that person anymore. You know what I mean? So like right now, I have the utmost respect for who she's with now. You know what I mean?
Right,
and me 10 years ago, I would not be looking at that situation this way. You know what I mean? I would be like, oh, that's my. You know what I mean? But now I realize like I want her to have the best life that she can have, because if she's having the best life she can have, that means she's giving my kids the best life that they can give.
Right. Yeah,
and you know what I mean? That's just growing. You know what I mean? Like it's not just because we didn't work out or just because I don't work out with a friendship or something like that. It doesn't mean that I have ill intentions for somebody. You know what I mean? I spent a big part of my life with you know a big part of me, I know a big part of you, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, and regardless of us not working out or us not being friend, like me being friends with somebody and that I'm not friends with anymore, we still spent that, you know, you still had all those experiences together.
Yeah.
And I think that is like I think that's a big part of life. And like you said, it's kind of growing up, you know what I mean? Like being younger, you think like, oh, that person, I had to be with them because we were together, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But growing up, you kind of realize
there's relationships that I lost over just a bad energy, you know, bad energy at the end of, you know, I have some cool chicks that I've dated that we got along, you know, like probably better as friends, but you know, unfortunately, you know, like you said, times are, you know, at younger ages, you know, it doesn't mean as much.
No, people, and 100%, people definitely grow and change, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's definitely growing up. Like I said, 10 years ago, I wouldn't be saying the things I said about my daughter's moms and stuff like that.
Well, I think it's a very it's very
maturing.
Mature.
I think is kind of it is, and it's like I said. I mean, you don't, as like a young adult or a teenager and stuff. It's your first. It's the first time you're like experiencing.
And plus,
those
you have daughters
things.
Too, so like you know, like how you want them treated. You know,
100%. And that's like why I look at people now. Like I'm like, man. How would I feel if my daughter was being treated like that? You know
and
what I mean?
that actually just recently hit my life because I don't have any kids at the moment, but it's crazy because, you know, my mom, she's dating, she has a boyfriend now, and you know, it didn't click until that happened. Like, oh.
This dude,
I should be treating
how I want my mother. How this guy, I want my mother to be treated by this guy.
It was a different switch,
yes,
and I noticed it, and because before I'm like, you know, like
dogging, you
fuck
know,
these hoes,
yeah, exactly.
you know?
Trust me, I went through my dog phase. Dude. Trust me, a guy can be, and like they said, going back to learning, you know, that's just you going through the experiences for the first time and not having kind of that guidance, you know. But like that goes back to talking about my kid, you know. Now whenever I go on dates or anything like that, or if I have a girl around or anything, if I'm gonna bring her flowers, I go to the store with him and I say, this is why I'm getting her flowers. This is like, I teach him how I think women should be treated because I was never taught that as a kid, you know what I mean? As a kid growing up, you know, I was just taught what my friends said, you know what I mean? Like, hey, fuck these, get as many bitches as you can, you know what I mean? Like, I went through my phase of that too, you know. And I mean, I'm not dating right now, and I'm not looking either. But I think that's kind of the best way to do it, you know what I mean? I know you and Cade kind of talked a little bit about dating and stuff, and I think like, and how like. Even thinking about like Trent and Aram, you know what I mean? Trent went a long time being single, you know, and he moved up to California, and that's where he met Aram. You know, he would have never met her if he wouldn't have stepped out of his comfort zone. You know what I mean? And it just, I think when it naturally, I think when it comes natural, you know, it's different.
Yeah.
But when
you find your person, you know.
But when you're younger, you're like around all the same people. You grew up with all the same people, so you like try to make kind of like that. Everybody's kind of like trying to find the same thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You kind of try to mold. You kind of try to mold somebody into what you.
Yeah,
want,
exactly. And
rather than finding
who's already
perfect fit.
And
you know?
and that's out there. You know what I mean? When you find your person, you won't have to change them. They'll come into your life, and they will already do the things that you expect them to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course, everybody's gonna have their little nitpicks that they like tell the other person that they're into. But if the other person's not into that thing, then you shouldn't have to force that. You should just be like, okay, well then I think maybe we're better off as friends. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I know that we're not on like a dating podcast, but just to give just to give a little advice about it. You know what I mean? I think too many people try to turn a certain person into what they want them to be when that person's already out there. You know what I mean? Like the person that you are going to end up with, like that you're going to spend 50 years with, you know, is not somebody that you're going to have to turn into something else. They are going to be that person as you meet them. You know what I mean? And you're gonna meet the person that does the dishes the way you like to do the dishes, or cooks, knows that you don't like carrots in your food, so they leave the carrots out. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like if you're trying to force somebody to do it, they're gonna make the food how they want to make it, and they're like, eat it or don't eat it. You know what I mean? Right. But when you meet that person, they care. They care. You know what I mean?
They take you into account.
100%. And when you love somebody, and I do, like, this doesn't even have to go for dating. You know, I mean, this can go for friendships and everything else. When you love someone, you do what that person is like preferenced. You know what I mean? Like, even with my friends, I know that certain friends don't like certain things, and so I won't do that kind of thing around that friend, because I love that person. You know what I mean? I love that friend, and I'm not going to put them in a situation just because it's more comfortable for me or because I want to do it. Like, when you love someone, you make that sacrifice, and that's what it is. Love is sacrifices. You know what I mean? So when you love someone, it doesn't have to be dating. It can be friends, family, whatever. You really truly realize what that person like enjoys and doesn't enjoy, and you won't put that person in a bad situation. I have friends that I truly love that don't get along with some of my other friends, so I won't be around that friend talking about what my other friend's doing, because you know what I mean? Why? I can just
stirring the pot.
You know what I mean? And I think that's something you learn. Like I said, you learn as you get older. Is just like, love is sacrifices, man. And once you find the people that are like your true friends, your true loves, you truly care about them, then you will make those sacrifices with no issue. Like Mason, I love Mason to death. He's one of my best friends. We've lived together. We've been through a lot together. Like I said, he's called the ambulance for me while I was passed out in the bathtub before.
Oh, that was Mason.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, not that time. Okay, this was a different time when we lived in Boise together. And I had drank too much the night before,
crap.
I was passed out in the bathtub throwing up. It was a bad time. Crap. I had no clothes on or nothing. And shout out Mason. He came in my room. He called he called the ambulance for me. We've been through some real life stuff together. But when Mason comes over, I don't even have to ask. He'll stop by the gas station and grab me a Sprite Zero or a Powerade Zero.
Oh, dude, that's badass.
Because he knows that's what I enjoy.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? And so when I go over to his house, I'll stop by. If I'll grab him a Fanta or a Brisk or whatever he wants. You know what I mean? Because we know each other. We love each other. And you know what I mean? It's just our to show our appreciation for each other, and that we truly care. You know what I mean? You don't have to buy big expensive gifts. You don't have to do expensive things. We don't do that because we have to do that, but we do it because I know he'll always drink that Brisk. You know what I mean? It'll save him a little bit of time. He don't have to go get one later at the store. You know what I mean? That's like a love.
That's good friendship.
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
to show that's love. It's a sacrifice. You know what I mean? It's $2. You know what I mean? And to save them a little bit of time.
I know. On the way over here, you were like, "You want me to pick up some food?" I'm like,
100%.
I really appreciate that. But hey,
that's the thing, man. I respect you. You know what I mean? I consider you a friend to me.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
100%,
And so the thing is, I care. You know what I mean? I'm a very caring person, and it ain't no big deal. You got to eat, and I got to eat. So it ain't no. I don't want to just pick us up some food, But we can, like you said, we can go get some after this, or no big deal,
We got plenty of food. We got plenty of options.
But it's that's kind of just showing. It's showing your appreciation for the people you care and love without having to tell them all the time. You know what I mean? Me and Mason, we don't sit there and be like, "I love you." You know, we're like, "Hey, bro, I love you." You know what I mean? We'll say "love you" or whatever every once in a while, or you know what I mean? Just to make it known. But that's me showing my respect to you. You know what I mean?
Hilarious.
It's it's just how we do things.
I think it's a great way to do things.
Honestly. And like I said, if I'm going somewhere, I know I'm gonna be here a couple of hours. I know we're gonna drink things. You know what I mean? It ain't no big deal for me if you want me to pick up a couple drinks, or whatever. That's just my love language, I guess. How you show it.
Sure.
I think that's huge for people. Because a lot of people it's hard for a lot of people to say.
Right.
Kind of say their feelings, and it's a lot easier for people to kind of just show people how they care, what I mean, than to say it. So, yeah.
Wow. Well, I think that you're on an amazing path, and like I said, it takes a unique individual to pursue what you want to pursue, and it sounds like you have an amazing plan, and it sounds like you are an amazing dad, and you're teaching very well-rounded, just complex known things that I actually butchered that completely. You're teaching good morals, and that's important.
Yeah, it is.
It's very important.
And I appreciate it. I do. And like I said, it's nice to hear it, but I look at my son every day, and I don't have to hear it.
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I mean? Because I see it.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful when people say it, because I do hear it quite often, because every time my son gets around somebody, they're like, "Man, you're doing a good job,"
Right.
And it's really nice to hear, and man, I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Well, I can't wait to see where your adventures lead. I'm excited to keep up with you via YouTube.
Yes.
Where can people find you at?
For sure. It'll be, like I said, I haven't uploaded yet, but it will be on YouTube, youtube.com/Collin Gunter, and it's a capital C and a capital G. It'll be a picture of me and my son. You'll see us on there. I keep up with me on Facebook, on Collin Gunter, and that's pretty much it. I don't really do.
You need a TikTok too.
I do have TikTok, and I will upload there, like I said, with the shorts, kind of like me and you were talking about eventually. But I'm not there yet, and so I'm not gonna shout that out.
Yeah, not gonna add another.
Yeah, once I get that
component,
going, once I get that going, maybe we will definitely get on there for the advertisement. You know what I mean?
I think TikTok's one of the best ways to reach out. This is weird. I was walking downstairs. I was walking Larry, and this girl passes by. She said, "Hey, you have a podcast?" And I said, "I do have a podcast."
She saw it.
She was like, "You were on my feed the other day," and I was like, "Hey, that's my neighbor."
Yeah,
and I was like,
that's awesome.
I mean, that's cool,
That's awesome.
And it's TikTok, man. TikTok, you you reach a lot more people than people that are just following it.
100%. Socials are really big, and I was real big into a lot of socials, and I kind of stepped away because like we were talking about earlier, I was a real big people pleaser, and social media is a very people pleasing kind of place, and it's hard to
you just gotta ignore it.
Yeah, it's hard
all the BS.
It's hard to balance like a real life and social media life. So
and keeping a good head.
So right now I'm on Facebook and YouTube, and then I'm gonna kind of stick with that. And I'm sure once I get my adventures rolling, I will make an Instagram and a TikTok to upload the videos of that and that kind of thing. But for now, if you want to follow me, just Facebook and YouTube, and we'll go from there. And you can post my links, and you'll be able to follow it on there. That's where I'm going to post it. I'll probably be posting about a month behind, because I don't I don't like people exactly in our business knowing It's not going to be live stuff. You know what I mean? Like a lot of things.
Well, all you got to do is collect it up. Collect it up.
That's it. And then
run into a mistake, you adjust, you keep moving, you collect.
And like we both said, as we go, things will change, and bumps will pop up. You know what I mean? But
it's inevitable.
My biggest saying that I tell people is I treat life like a river. Like when you float the river, you just sit in that tube, and I'm on the river of life. You know what I mean? I'm on the river of life, and I just
with the flow.
I just go with the flow.
You along.
That's
you
it.
got your feet and the hands in the water.
Sometimes there's a little waterfall that you got to get ready for. Sometimes there's a stick in the river that you got to go around.
Rock will poke your floaty.
Exactly.
You just patch that baby up and air it up, and you're
keep
on your way.
Floating.
Yeah.
Keep on floating down the river of life, people. So that's where I'm at with things. And man, I really appreciate you having me on. And
Collin Gunter, I really appreciate it.
I wish you the best success on this on your journey as well.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we'll be in touch.
Whenever I'm in Houston, I know we're right here downtown. I know where we're at now.
That's right. Yeah. Well, anytime you're welcome, my friend. I appreciate you for coming.
Thank you.